and welcome to our stretch and core class. So this morning, we're going to do a full body stretch. We're going to start standing up. I'll have you guys press the insole, the instep of your foot together here, ankles together, knees together. So everything's pressing in on that midline. Your glutes are going to tighten up. If they don't, go ahead and tighten them. Draw your tailbone all the way down through your legs toward your ankles, right? So if you see yourself from the side, you don't want to allow your low back to kind of sway out this way. You want to kind of get your tailbone down, glutes are tight, your shoulders, hips, ankles are all directly over each other here, okay? So if you do catch yourself in the side and you're looking a little bit like this or this, right, we're going to try to tighten the core, pull the tailbone down, and then we're just going to tuck your chin here. All right, so that's your neutral position, but there's a lot of muscles engaged in that. We'll take an inhale here, and then you're going to just exhale. Keep those glutes nice and tight and come on over to the side. Good, and come all the way back up. Good, I'm just making sure, good, I'm not on mute because the last class I was. Good, so let's go again. Inhale all the way up. And exhale over to your other side with a nice side body stretch, coming all the way back down, and exhale, arms by your side. Inhale all the way up, exhale when you get up here, and just continue to breathe on your own. I'm gonna have you be mindful of your shoulders here. So I don't want to be shrugged up here, even though your arms are reaching up overhead. So energy in the fingers, spread them all out, but plug your shoulders down. So you kind of have a little bit of a shelf going on here. You don't want to be squeezed up on the ears. So plugging those arms down into the sockets here. Good. And I'm just going to turn sideways to you guys. I'm going to take a diving forward fold here like we would do in a sun salutation, but you're going to drop your hips back so that you don't hurt your lower back. Bend those knees as you come down and plant your hands onto the floor. Drop your head to look at your knees, and we're just going to open up your SI joints and lower back here. So if you're struggling to get down onto the floor here, you can grab a block or a foam roller or something so that you're leaning forward. You don't want to be, if your flexibility won't let you get here and you're hanging out here, that's going to kind of challenge your low back. So get yourself either on a foam roller at any height, or a yoga block or something like that if you're struggling to get down to the floor. Heel toe your feet in so that your instep is together again. I'm going to have you take your hand to the back of your calf here, if you can manage the balance challenge here. So we're holding on here. You can see my arms are engaged here, and I'm trying to get my forehead close to my knees. Good, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Placing my hands back on the ground. I'm going to try to keep my head as close to my knees as I can, and then work my legs towards straight. My head's going to come away from my knees as I work towards straight. And I'm going to try to keep it as close as I can with my legs straight here, looking into my knees or directly behind me. And again, I'm either supported on the floor or on a block. And then I'm going to bend here and take my hands to the back of my calves, bringing my forehead into my knees bent. My chest is on my thighs, resting. I'm working my balance and opening up my low back. And then I'm going to take my hands back onto the floor or my block and work to straighten those legs, but also to keep my forehead as close to the knees as I can here. We're just going to hold with straight legs. And so if you can't, sometimes when you go to the straight legs, you might want to bring that block in for some support. We'll do that one more time. Drop down through your hips. Hands are going to come to the back of your calf. We're working that balance. Squeeze those legs together. Open the low back. And drop those hands onto the mat. And extend the legs out. Squeeze that forehead toward those knees. And then just kind of do a little like wiggle of your head. You're not holding tension in that neck. Good. Contract your abdominal muscle. Move your ribs toward your hips to get your head to come closer. Should feel a nice good stretch through the upper back and your hamstrings.
And good, go ahead and release. You're gonna walk your hands right out in front of you, come down onto one knee and then onto the other till we come into our tabletop posture here. Hands are directly underneath your shoulders. Tuck your chin here like you've got that tennis ball underneath. And you're gonna just open up those knees. Feet are gonna come together. Send the hips back. Walk your hands as far out as you can. Drop your forehead down. We're gonna come into child's pose. Inhale into your upper back and exhale, press your hips down nice and low. And good, we're gonna walk your hands all the way over to the right front corner so you're opening up your left side body. You also don't want to collapse through the right side. So everything reaches, just the left reaches a little bit more so. 3, 2, and 1. Good, walk those fingers back through the middle. We'll come over to the left. And now we're opening up that right side body, but again, we're reaching everything. The right side just has to reach a little bit more. Good, and we're gonna come back to your center here. Just bring your arms underneath you. Just let your shoulders and your lats relax for a second. And then we're gonna, you can come up for a minute just to get your legs back underneath you. Kind of come into a hero pose. If it's a little bit too much, that's right, you can stay up or you can sit on a block here, but we're gonna kind of add some lateral movement to this. So the roller actually may be a little bit more helpful. We're gonna just kind of come, if I'm facing you guys here, I'm gonna just come off to my right side here. So now I've opened up my side body, but this is a little bit lower on the back of my hip, and I'm just pressing that out. I'm gonna come back through the center. I'm gonna rock off the ankles, pressing out to the left. And good, I'll come back to the center and I'll do that one more time. Pressing out and just kind of roll my torso to the left. And back through the center, and then hips press left. Torso goes to the right. Good, I'm gonna just come back through the center and I'll come back up into my tabletop just to get some blood flow down around those knees. And we'll take some cat-cows here. So dropping your belly, chest comes through, lifting your head. And then you're gonna exhale and somebody's picking you up by the shoulder blades. And drop your head, tuck your pelvis under. Good, one more time. And exhale, we're gonna hold up here. Continue to breathe on your own. The same thing, you're just gonna take your right hip out to the right side, roll that torso to the left. Back through your center, pressing out through that left hip, roll to the right. Good, one more time, over to the right, roll to the left. Back through your center, press out to the left, roll through right. Now we'll come back through the center, curl your toes underneath you here. You're gonna lift yourself up into your downward facing dog. First downward facing dog here. So just settle in for a second. See where your heels wind up. I'm hip distance apart. Maybe, yeah, that was more. I'm gonna bring my feet in. I want them hip distance apart here. And I'm gonna just see where my heels are. Mine are nowhere near the floor. They're way up. And so I'm gonna use my hands to press into the mat, send my hips up toward the ceiling, and see if I can drop my heels any bit lower. Good, just holding and breathing in here, letting these muscles open up for a little bit. And good, all right. So I'm gonna lift my head so that my eyes look between my hands. And I'm gonna move my right hand out of the way, closer to my left, and take a big step forward with my right. So I'm in a high runner's lunge here, and then I'm gonna just put that imaginary tennis ball under my chin so that I'm not dropping my head down. I'm gonna tent my fingertips here so that I can lift my chest up and press through that back hip. So as I lift my chest up here, I get a little bit more of a stretch through that left hip flexor. Good, and then I'm gonna Bring that back knee down, undo my foot. Take my right hand into my right thigh here. Hands come to the back and I'm gonna press forward. Good. And open the chest up, 3, 2, and 1. Good, I'm gonna press back here. I'm gonna bring my right knee back, bring my hands back down, curl my toes under, and I'm gonna come back into my downward facing dog. Good, so still, same thing, hips, feet are about hip distance apart, and just let my heels drop as low as they can. They don't need to be on the floor. I'll push my hands into the mat a little bit to send my hips up toward the ceiling. And I'm just gonna breathe in, inhale and exhale a few times, allowing these muscles to open. And good, on that next exhale, you lift your head to look forward between your hands and move the left hand closer to the right. Big step forward on the left so that we are in a high runner's lunge. Good. Taking my hands into maybe a tent and lift my chest, opening up through my right. Get a nice stretch, really pressing back to that back heel is really gonna extend that stretch through the hip. And then we'll drop that back knee, undo the toes, left hand into the left thigh. And both hands come to the back, press forward, open the chest, squeeze the shoulder blades. And push back into the heel on that left foot. Both knees come together. Hands are gonna come back down through your tabletop here, pressing up. And you're gonna take a step forward with your right foot to the right hand, left to the left hand, drop your hips, roll yourself up nice and gentle, and clasp your hands behind you. So from here, again, you wanna make sure that we're not popped out, tailbone is right to the ground, especially when we do this, we are clasped behind, we tend to kind of pop that belly out. So you wanna make sure that you're tucked under, roll this back here. Good, and you're gonna just drop your head over to the left side. 3, 2, and center. And 3, 2, and center. Good, this time you're gonna turn your head to look over to the left. Back through the center, look over your right. Back through your center. Release and just shake those hands out. And we'll finish out with our 3 shoulder rolls. Good, all the way up, the biggest shoulder rolls you can do. Last one, and excellent. Good work today, everybody. Remember, you can just run through that again if you're feeling like that was a good routine and I need a little bit more stretch. You can always just run through any of the routines another couple of times or just do it later on during the day. Have a good one.